My name is Alexander Knight. I'm a Bonner leader here at Sewanee, the University of the South. I am 22 from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I love people and traveling. When my parents were dropping me off during my freshman year, I blacked out briefly. I was pretty nervous despite everything I kept telling myself. I had taken a gamble with Sewanee. I had no family connections, and I didn't know anyone who had gone here. My mom had found Sewanee online while searching for the most beautiful campuses in the country. I had thrown the dice and ended up on the mountain. Thanks, Mom. I ended up at Sewanee a few days early to attend pre, which gives new Sewanee students a few extra days to meet their class and see a few of the many opportunities the domain has to offer, like running around or climbing or swimming, anything that you can think of in 13,000 acres of forest. Not many days after that, my new pre-buddies, Marshall and Henry, introduced me to the guys who are now my best friends. The next thing I knew, I was sitting at the couch in the WIC at my first Bonner meeting, and I was blabbing to Ella Cobbs about how much of a happy person I was and how I love chatting with people. Anyways, I started settling into Sewanee life, meeting amazing people, doing Bonner stuff, and given wonderful opportunities. One of which, through Folks at Home, which is a service that helps with the elderly community that lives around Sewanee. They asked me to go visit with an older gentleman. So every Thursday, I would go to his house and listen to his stories about his life, just keep him company. One Thursday visit, I remember feeling he was in a different mood when I saw him. He told me one final story that was not as somber as the others. And in finishing him, I was kind of inspired. I asked him if he'd like to write down or record some of his life stories that he'd been telling me. The old man replied that he didn't have that long. And at that moment, I did not think much about what he said. I just told him goodbye and told him I'd see him next week. But next week, I come to find that I'm told that he had died. Not only that Saturday, not 2 days after I saw him. And that gave me the opportunity to contemplate death while I was truly just starting my life. You know, pretty interesting way to start a freshman year. Anyways, I also went to the Grundy County Jail with Peter Barr and Sam Stracely. I'd usually drive down the mountain alone into the valley, driving through the farms and patchwork landscape, then back up the mountain to Altamont, Tennessee, where the jail sat. Three of us would tutor and give life skills courses. One-on-one time was interesting because I am honestly not the best tutor, but they chatted me up and told me stories. Those were my freshman sights. All the while, I was enjoying everything Sewanee had to offer, being outside and enjoying good company. I joined the ATO fraternity with the buddies I mentioned before, and then COVID happened. COVID was a bummer, but when I returned as a sophomore, it ended up giving me Abo's Alley. I was a Bonner out in the woods, doing many different tasks on the trails that you can find right behind Johnson or old ATO house. Abos compelled me to go outside and sweat, to splash around in the creek, to stop and chat with an old lady from Georgia who is dressed to the nines in her Sunday best. I did much more than that, though. I planted 10 huge trees, destroyed about 100 truckloads of brush and weeds. I mowed, I weed whacked, I snipped, I chopped, and I sawed almost everything I can think of. Abos has seen me through a lot, too. I've had some good conversations and some bad ones out there. Had a couple cries, and Abo might catch me crying again sometime in the next couple weeks. Anyways, sophomore year was kind of rough with COVID and all other sorts of things. Coming in the second semester of that year, I was not feeling myself. I guess I was pretty bummed out about a few things. Anyways, the first day I returned from winter break, I started running with two older students. After only 2 months of training, I ran the P Trail Marathon, and I won it too. I had not kicked my rut yet, however. That summer, I managed to figure a few things out, and I'm glad I did, because my parents divorced a week before my junior year, which was also my sister's senior year of high school. Not a great way to start, but I had Abo's Alley and many great people back at Sewanee to keep my mind off the chaos. I also started working at the South Cumberland Farmers Market. I got to meet what felt like the entire Sewanee community right out back behind the market. I got to be the guy that put all the cheese, the lettuce, the eggs, the pumpkin, maybe some tiramisu or some chocolate cake. I put that in a bag and I would walk it out and bring it to people's cars. And often we would stop and chat about nothing, But anyways, I felt like I was a member of the Sewanee community. I saw these people all over the place. It felt pretty cool. It still does. My friend Sam and I were reminiscing a few days ago about everything Sewanee had given us, about how grateful we are and how much we've learned and how much we've grown. I can't believe how grateful I am now, and I can't imagine how grateful an old Alexander will be looking back at his time at Sewanee. While there were many highs and lows during my 4 years at Sewanee, I am going to miss it a lot. My mind has not processed all the raw emotions that I've had these last few weeks. I was just sitting with my buddies the other night, laughing and chatting and talking about nothing. Having those small, short, and almost meaningless conversations that's one of those things I'm going to miss most about Sewanee. Having 1,000 great, amazing people just within walking distance down the street at all times. You can bump into a buddy walking around campus, bump into somebody, and then together you can decide to drop everything that you were doing and head out to do, nothing together. But still, it's that small little interaction is going to be pretty hard to emulate when I leave Sewanee. Robin thinks that I should move to a small town, and I'm coming to agree with her. I do not want to leave the domain that saw me grow up, but I know that when I graduate, a couple hundred bits and pieces of Sewanee will be scattered across the country. And even though I haven't left Sewanee yet, I can't wait to see some of those little bits again. I know y'all will be out there making a hoot in the world. I have no idea personally where I'm headed, but I know I will go out into the world with love for everyone I meet. That gamble of Sewanee was worth it, and I think I cashed out and won the lottery, so thank you.